You want another $70K per month cash flow? Well, here's how you can do it with 3 setters. What's up, FlowChat fam? Hey, Chris here, CEO and co-founder of FlowChat.com. We're talking to real entrepreneurs that are getting real results. All my sales folk, guess what's coming? We're going to talk about a sales campaign that's doing multiple 5 figures per month. There's no paid ads. It's organic, and I think you're going to love it. We're going to get into the details of the sales so that you can take the tactics and strategies that we're communicating today, and you can apply it in your business and start boosting sales. If you're in for that type of conversation, you're going to want to stick around and meet Mr. Kyle Rodgers. How's it going, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing great, Chris. Thanks so much for having me on, man. I'm stoked. I'm stoked to be here, and I'm stoked to give some value.
Let's go. I appreciate you carving out some time to share the inside scoop, because that's what we want. So if you want to know more about Kyle and why he's so awesome and why these results are happening, hang with us. We're going to get into some of his story. I like to focus on the actual thing and the tactics so people can get what was promised right away. Let's do that. You said 70K. This is one of your more recent campaigns. There's only 3 setters. What was the product and service for this campaign?
Yeah, so the product that the setters are pushing is collaboration. So they're not trying to sell anything. They're not trying to give free coaching. It's literally like, hey, let's hang out. Let's have a virtual coffee. Let's get to know each other. And if it makes sense, we'll pass referrals back and forth. If you have an audience, I'll promote you to my audience. You promote me to your audience. We do swaps, interview swaps, webinar swaps, stuff like that. And then off of the back end of that relationship, they start to learn more about what I do, and their audience can get curious, or they can get curious, and then ultimately end up working with me in my program.
Okay, so if I heard this correctly, you're having setters do this.
Yes.
Are setters doing this with your profile? Are they doing this with their profile?
So I have my top setter, my most rock star setter, is using his own profile. The other 2, or is using my profile. The other 2 are using their own profiles.
Got it. And they're doing this collaboration with you going on someone else's podcast, or them coming on your show, or doing like this networking virtual coffee type framework. It's you doing that, and they're having the communication and booking that activity. Is that correct?
That's correct. So on my profile, they have a script, and they're trained to sound just like me. So my setters are US based. So English is their first language. They come from a deep sales background. They're hustlers. They had to prove themselves in order to even get onto my profile. So the guy that is mainly on my profile, he's just an absolute beast. And I 100% trust him to just go out and be me in these conversations.
Awesome. We're going to go down the AI path in just a second. So anyone listening, watching, that's even like, oh, well, like, why I use a human? Because now I have conversational AI. And okay, we're going to get into this in a little bit, but I want to make sure we stick on your campaign and the process that's actually generating the result for you and the people that you're working with. This said, so you've cloned yourself. They're communicating your brand, your voice, and it's very collaborative. This isn't, spamming people with links. And I know I can throw this in the table. Not everyone's like willing to do that or does it well. So it's really easy. Like, oh, it's so saturated and everyone sucks and it's all spam. It's like, yeah, that's all your competition. It's so easy to stand out. And so if you approach it the way you are, it's just going to work. It's going to be really effective for you. How many, let's talk through numbers. How many reach outs are your setters doing a day?
So 13 posts per day, and those can be curious question posts. Yes. So they're doing posts on their own profile, not mine. In my own profile, I handle my own posting. So I post on my profile, I post in my Facebook group, I post in some other groups that I'm a partner in. So I control that, but the setters that are on their own profile, they're doing 13 posts per day. Some of them are just curious question and engagement type posts. And then others are more, hey, we have this thing, we want to give you value, who's interested? So in groups that are not as strict, we're giving away value. In groups that are very strict, it's just all conversational. trying to create conversation and then slide into their DMs after that.
Yeah, the term slide into the so you start with two-step posts is like your main deal. It's like, hey, let's post a lot of content and let's re-engage and nurture the people that are liking and commenting.
Yes, and that's part of it. It's definitely not the whole thing, and this is very important for the audience to know, because a lot of people have noticed Facebook groups have changed over the last couple of years.
100%.
As far as reach goes, the reach isn't quite as good as it was when you do a post. So it started to really impact our numbers. We're like, man, we're not getting nearly as many comments, not getting as much engagement as we used to. So we found a workaround. If there's one day where the posts absolutely flop and there's not enough engagement, there's not enough leads, then we just do outreach on other people's posts. So go into other people's posts, add people as friends. Once they accept the friend request, then getting into conversation. So we're doing 60 friend requests a day.
Wow. Okay. And when you say add people as friends and tagging people, is that two different thoughts or the same? Like you go to someone else's post and tag a friend?
No. So,
okay.
So we add them as a friend. So we add as a friend.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they were two different thoughts. Yeah. Okay.
And then we message them once they accept the friend request, or if we're below our 30 message requests, then we'll just send the message at the same time we send the friend request.
Okay. So you have a priority of waiting for them to accept. And if you're like below the threshold, you're like, I'll just friend and send.
That's it.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
What was the comment you made about tagging on a different like post?
It could have been when I was talking about posting in other people's groups. So I have Brian Delaney, for you know who Brian is, I think, and he's got
Brian?
a large
Did you
group.
ever watch this?
Yeah. So I post inside of his group and I do interviews for him in his community. So I'm allowed to post content and kind of symbiotic relationship. He gets content from me and he gets expert interviews. Plus I get traffic from his group. So relationships like that where I'm leveraging other people's audiences.
Let's hang there for a second, because I think that's a really valuable point for somebody. Finding collaborative Facebook groups is very powerful. And
yes, big time.
Yeah, because if you I'll go into groups and like spam, like you're burning the relationship. But if you can just connect with the owners, there's a couple key things I want to highlight you said. Number one, you're like, oh, I'm providing content. Anyone that's done content, what's the pain point? You got to think of what to write and like what to say, and then you're editing it. Like it's just a whole nother project. So if you're like, hey, I can pull in expert content for you and it'll all be under your brand and your group, can I post? Can I build more relationship with people in your group? And you found a good mutual collaborative relationship where that's a yes. You're serving a similar client in a different way. Is that correct?
Yeah, so it's insane because I'm literally just giving value and not promoting myself at all, not even trying. But as a result of that, sales are coming. People just come up to me and approach me because it's that recognition and that value give. You're building that goodwill, which it just all comes back to you.
What's working? When you're communicating, you're not soliciting your product or service, yet people are coming towards you. Is it like, oh, hey, I saw your latest interview. That was awesome. I mean, like, what are they saying to you, or what are you doing to get that response where they're coming towards you?
So I talk a lot about, hey, if you guys want to be promoted and jump on an interview, just reach out to me directly. So I have people, not everybody qualifies, but they're reaching out to me to see if they qualify to be on an interview. And then I'm just getting that outreach. And then people are just adding me as a friend because they see me in the group and they see me being active and a more administrator role. So then they're reaching out to me directly, just sending me a message, asking me more about what I do.
Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate going through these details. I know there's people listening, watching, like, okay, cool result, but like, where's the traffic coming from and what's the nurture process? And then, when is the paywall or the conversion happening? And, right now we're talking about lead flow. And so you found some collaborative Facebook groups that you can be a part of and do content. And the ask is, hey, reach out and we could feature you too. And so I'm sure you're doing this. I just want to highlight it. When somebody's reaching out and you're screening them for an interview, you also get that excuse to learn more about them and qualify them also as a prospect. A lot of time,
100%.
a lot of times done well. That's how it's approached. What are some of the key qualifying questions you're using?
So you say, who's your audience? Who's your avatar? They'll say, and then I'll say mine, coaches, experts, speakers, agencies. That's who I serve. I have a large audience that I can promote you in front of, definitely get you some good exposure, potentially some sales. And it's my main source of traffic is to do collaborations and interview swaps like this. Is that something that you're open to? They say yes. I say, okay, so what does your audience look like? What's your avatar? Who are you getting in front of? And then they'll tell me, and if it's in line, then I say, okay, so where's your platform? Is it your Facebook profile? Do you have a Facebook group? Do you have a YouTube channel? Do you have Instagram? Where are you posting and getting the most engagement? Then they'll tell me. Then I'll go look. And if it's on social media, then I want to see at least 20 or 30 comments on posts in order to do a collaboration. That's how I know if I do a couple two-step posts with them, then I'm going to be able to get leads out of it. Because I do an interview, they do a two-step post for the replay. Boom, get leads. Do a two-step post for the free giveaway that I gave at the end of the interview. Boom, get leads again. So if they don't have 20 comments at least, then I'll tell them, I do it in a positive light. And this is very important because if you guys are going to try this, it's very unauthentic if you're like, yeah, I'm sorry you don't qualify, but, I might be able to help you out. Here's my offer.
Yeah.
No, people are going to feel bait and switched, and they're just going to shut you down right away, and that's going to leave a bad taste in their mouth. So what you have to do is you put it in a positive light. Oh, you're getting about 10 comments on your post. That's pretty good. That's a good start. I'll tell you what, when I interview you, you're going to get a lot of engagement. You're going to get leads and potentially sales. So we like to make sure that we can reciprocate and get the same thing. If you interview me and do a couple posts, we want to make sure that we can get leads from that. You're so close. You're at about 10 comments on your post on average right now. What we really like to see you at is between 20 to 30. But it's just a hop, skip, and a jump away. In fact, there's just a couple things that you could implement to get there very quickly, and I'd like to coach you on that. Are you down for me to support you for free and help you get there? That way, once you do pass that threshold, we can work together. We can do some stuff.
Cool. It's a clear target. It's direct, and someone can decide if they want to go down that path or not. At least they know what to expect and what the clear outcome is. I like it. So it's a good way to pivot. So once you're someone does meet the criteria, you're doing that collaboration, you're building a little bit of relationship and rapport through the conversation that you're having with them. When do you have the sales conversation?
So that happens right when, so let's take two examples. There's one example of somebody that doesn't qualify for a collaboration, and the other example is somebody that does qualify for a collaboration. So let's say that they don't. Then the transition happens is when I'm coaching them. Say, oh man, you're not quite there yet, but you're so close. I want to help you get there. Are you down for me to give you a resource that's going to help you build that audience pretty quickly?
Yeah.
A lot of them say yes. I'm not getting a lot of no's on that. And so I give them the resource, which is my zero resistance messenger script. And that's a messenger script to completely make Messenger this conversion machine to where almost everybody you talk to is going to tell you yes. So instead of coming up against that wall and not being able to get into conversations, you're getting into so many conversations that you get to be picky with who you're talking to.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that I give them. And I just hand it to them right there when I'm on the call with them. And then I say, look, it's hard to implement stuff sometimes when you just get it for free. So I'd like to give you free coaching as well. I want to give you an implementation call to help you integrate this into your business, actually get value from it. Can we book a call in the next couple of days for me to coach you through that and help you do it? And they say, yes, boom, game on. Sales conversations happening on that second call. If they're asking buying questions, which they do sometimes, where they'll take it themselves, they'll take it away from the collaboration. They'll start asking buying questions. Well, game on then too. You might be able to get it one call
like
closed at that point.
If they're ready to buy and the buying signals come up, don't get in their way, right?
Yeah.
All
exactly.
right, Kyle. You're all right. You're all right, Kyle. I like you. here's
Thanks, man.
Here's what I think's really powerful about that is normally you're on the interview and then which is, you could call it a discovery call, in the sales process, to use some jargon. And then you go to like the closing call, which you're calling the integration or implementation call. I like customer journeys and sales processes that are more doing based than let's talk about it based. Talking takes time and understanding. It's expensive. It's like, rather than talk about it, like I could just do it for you. And if you like that in this direction, then we both know it's going to be a good fit. And I think focus on the result and the work. I'm always more prone towards those sales processes because
that's powerful.
And I just wanted to highlight that because as you're describing it, I'm like, cool, you're doing it, and people are like, okay, that's what they do in this. I was like, no. Like if you're listening and watching this, and you're not currently doing that, think a little bit harder, modify your process to incorporate that. Just to like hang on this topic for 30 more seconds. With software companies, how do they do this? A lot of times it's a free trial. But if you do a demo call with a free trial, rather than, you can click this button and that button, yay. If you get stuck into feature benefit land, it's so boring. No one wants more software in their life. Are you kidding me? Come on, I'm the software guy and I don't want more software. But I do and will always love, like just about you, Kyle, or almost anyone, I do love outcomes and I do love speed and I do love leverage. And that is ultimately what tech really does. It helps us get more output than input in a leveraged way. So anyway, I like how you focus on the outcome and you're just doing the work. I think it's really powerful. All right, so this is this is your sales process. You've taken back the curtain, but now I'd like to get to know Kyle a little bit more. So switching gears, how on earth did Kyle get into sales?
That's a fun story, but before we go into that, I do want to add one more thing,
please.
And that's how to convert people if they do qualify for a collaboration and an interview swap.
Yeah, please.
Well, if they do qualify, I mean, that's freaking awesome. That means that you're going to be able to leverage their audience and leverage the people that they know. And one lead might become 10 or one lead might become 100. That's the highest leverage thing you can do, is to get promoted to somebody's warm audience and they're helping sell you to people that they've built goodwill to for a long time. So that's number one, is just being able to give somebody like that value and get them excited about who you are and what you have to offer to their audience, so that they push you more and more traffic. That's where you're going to get the most out of that relationship. But then I'm also seeing what I can do to help the influencer. Because if they qualify for an interview swap, I'm not just stopping there. I'm going to see if they're interested in it. And if they're not, then at least it's going to build value into what I do, to where they're going to appreciate it more because they have an idea. So I say is, hey, Chris, at the end of the interview, I'm going to give away my freebie. It's the zero resistance messenger script. So I'm just going to give it to your audience. They're going to be able to go and start implementing some stuff. And how's my sound? Am I a little bit choppy?
It looks like the signal's breaking up just a little bit. I've been able to hear you okay so far, so that's good.
Okay. So I say, hey, Chris, so this is the messenger script. This is what it does. And by the way, I think that you might be able to get some value out of this too. Are you down if I send it to you so that you can check it out and see if it's something that you guys could use? Then a lot of times they'll say, yep, sure, send it.
Let's do it.
And I say, all right, well, I'd like to help you implement it too. Boom, implementation call on top of scheduling the interview.
Awesome. So powerful. Yeah. Thanks for going down that path and sharing a little bit more around that. So this all said, like, yeah, I mean, those are quality, solid sales processes. Like, I'm sure that wasn't how you ran maybe your first sales process.
No, and it's not even how I was doing it 4 months ago. I just really switched what I was doing about 4 to 5 months ago when I noticed there was a ton of resistance in people just getting value. Because that's how I always did it. Is, hey, I've got this thing. This is what I do. Do you want me to coach you on it, or do you want this free thing and it's going to be able to help you? Or I've got this challenge coming up, or whatever it was. I've tried so many things. I've done so many things that they've all worked up until recently. Yeah. And then it just seems like there's just like this wall. Like everybody's done. They're not happy.
All right. Ready for the next thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to completely recreate what I was doing, and it ended up being more effective than the original thing.
Well, innovation is key, right? We got to adapt and change. And I guess, I know we were talking about going down your story, but I promised that we'd go down the AI path a little bit earlier. And speaking of adapting, how I mean, for setting, some setters are being replaced by conversational AI and bots that fit your voice and your brand. And actually, I was just chatting with one yesterday, and it sent me a follow-up like an hour ago, and I was like, this thing's cool, because I know the owner in the market. I was like, this is happening right now and he's not doing anything. I'm just,
Yeah.
I'm in the process. So what's your take on conversational AI right now?
So I look at conversational AI as a extremely powerful tool that's going to be able to free up humanity from mundane and tedious tasks, so that they can do things that are higher leveraged and have more impact. If you look at the Industrial Revolution, when factories came in, people had the same kind of concerns. Oh, these factories and all this automation is going to take our jobs, da, da, da. And that's not what happened. Jobs just changed. People were able to get things done with far greater impact while saving time and have a better quality of life. And I see that happening in AI in the sales space, to where your A-player salespeople are going to be able to leverage AI. But when it comes to really building the relationship and getting people pushed over the finish line, that human connection, that's when they come in and clean it up. So they maintain it, they operate it, and then when the human touch is needed, that's when they come in and take it across the finish line.
So the mirror on the wall, who's the best setter of them all, and what you see is, AI enhanced setters, meaning AI is handling some of the mundane, the bulk, the follow up, some of that piece, but you'd still have setters monitoring the quality of the conversations and jumping in and correcting messages when needed.
Yes. So I'm starting to implement some stuff with AI. And within my program, I have a whole module. It's called the AI augmented sales team.
Okay.
And some of the stuff that you guys have in FlowChat, I'm going to have that inside my dashboard. So I'm Sean about this, and to have that as a part of my process and push people that people can build an AI augmented sales team.
I love it. I think this is going to be great. I think there will definitely be a transition period, because it's like, all right, well, now these bots are just going to be talking to bots, and who knows where it's going to go? No one knows where it's going to go. But I'm like, okay, we're applying AI in some voice calls, even doing some testing with this, and there's been some other AI bots that pick up the phone, and then the two AI bots are talking to each other. It's hilarious.
That's funny.
But here's the deal.
Funny.
Like, if I have an assistant bot, for example, like an executive assistant AI bot, and I've fed it all the types of information. Here's how you respond to emails. Here's the contacts, and like handling things with me, for me kind of deal. And somebody's cold outreaching with a bot to my bot, and they both work out that it makes sense to have a call or not. Fine with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What's the difference between that and an actual assistant that knows all of your SOPs and processes?
I think it'll take a little bit to get to that intelligence. I know that the tech's out there. I know that it's already happening. But why doesn't Kyle have a dialed in, fully prompted, excellent bot? Why doesn't Chris have one? Why don't we have one right now? Well, because the tech and there's a skill gap there. I mean, there's just gaps still in the market. But we're continuing to learn and evolve, and I could see a direction or a path where that's the outcome. So okay, so you're embracing AI and your setter. You're like, hey, setters, fear not. You're going to have a job. It's going to look different, and here's how it's going to be different. You're going to be monitoring conversations.
So I call my tribe Sales Team 6, like SEAL Team 6.
Yep. That's good.
Okay.
Reference.
So if you picture the Navy SEALs, they're outfitted. They have all the crazy tech. They got the night vision goggles. They got the lasers on their the infrared laser on their rifles. Mm-hmm. They're set up on all of this tech. So that's what I want to do, is outfit setters so that they can be elite setters and elite closers leveraging technology.
That's freaking awesome. That's awesome, man. All right. So, hey, before we wrap up here and get to some of the last questions, how'd you get into sales?
Yeah, so I've been in sales for well over a decade now. Direct sales, cold calling, door knocking.
Okay.
I got my start going around beating the pavement, knocking on doors.
All right.
And
So you
I
got
think a
some
lot
real
of
sales
entrepreneurs,
experience then.
man, it's like getting your teeth kicked in. That's the hard knocks of sales.
Literally,
When
yeah.
somebody opens their door and they're just barely peeking through, and you're starting off as an enemy. I even had guns pulled on me, and you're starting off as an enemy. But then all of a sudden, by the end of it, they're inviting you in. They're making you dinner. They're giving you a tip just for being there. So it's all about making a friend. So that's where I really learned that skill. In fact, I learned more about sales being in door-to-door and cold calling than anything else I've ever done since.
It's the truth.
And I was with DirecTV for.
Sorry, I think there's a little lag. My fault. Keep going.
So I was in DirecTV for several years, and I became number 7 top salesperson in the nation for them.
Wow.
The whole nation won a cruise, got a plaque, all kinds of cool stuff. But I hit this block because I was like, okay, I'm one of the best in the nation, but I'm capping out at about 40,000. I'm not making nearly as much for my skill level. I need to get out of door to door. I can't do this forever. I need to level up as a salesperson.
Year or per month?
Per year.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you gotta. It's time to move on.
Yeah, you don't make much as a door to door guy. So then I got into real estate investing and wholesaling and stuff like that, and toured up in that industry. Did very well with that, and then it just continued to craft my skill, and then built the coaching company, and then was able to hit 2 Comma Club, which is 7 figures within your business. Same plaque behind Chris. Yeah, thanks, man. And a lot of hard work and dedication, but also a lot of sales skill and working on yourself and working on your own state of mind. So I've just gotten better and gotten sharper over the years.
I love it, man. Yeah, I will often say, like, hey, go serve in the military for 2 years, go do, cold calling. They're both 2 very different things, but I'm just saying if you did either of them, you'll learn a ton about yourself. Cold calling, commission only sales for 2 years. Am I going to make it? How am I going to survive or eat? It's uncomfortable, but you learn a lot about people. Yeah. You learn a lot about yourself. Similar experience. I'm still commission only, like 15 years later. And it's still, it's not quite as uncomfortable, but it's still like you just live in that unknown, and you gotta keep providing value. You can never stop. You can't hide. You cannot hide. You must continue to bring value to the marketplace, or it will tell you that you are not valuable and you will be hungry. So, anyway, I appreciate that you have that background. And why build teams? Why help other people do it right now?
Because I would rather spend money on a good person, somebody that I bond with and I really like as an individual, and I know I can help them achieve their vision. I'd rather spend that money and invest in somebody's future than dump it into ads and just burn that money. So for me, helping salespeople reach 6-figure incomes, that's a major driver for me. It's a big passion of mine.
Love it. Because I mean, the best coaches are the ones that are serving their former self, is what I've found. Not that that's right. all cases, but it's like, here's where I was and here's where I got. And man, I just want to, it was a really great experience for me. I want to share that with more people. And you're willing to invest time to make that happen. Hey, if people are leaning in, they're like, all right, this Kyle guy's cool. He gave us some process and best practices that are crushing. And turns out he's got the chops, like the real experience. Where do they go? Where should we send them?
So you guys can go to scalesalesteams.com/flowchat. scalesalesteams.com/flowchat. And I have a special gift prepared for you guys that you're going to be able to go and implement right away. Earlier, you heard me talk about the zero resistance messenger script, the ability to go into Messenger and have almost everybody talking to you and being able to get into conversations effortlessly, that's what this thing is going to help you do. And I'm going to give that to you guys for free. You can just have it.
That's awesome, man. So everyone loves some scripts. What do I say? How do I say it? Am I doing the right thing? What should my response rates be? I mean, this is a huge pain point and frustration. So if you've been feeling or thinking any of those things, if you're annoyed with low response rate or like all the spam that goes on in direct messaging on social media at times, or you're frustrated with people just not reading your stuff or ghosting you or replying, like, go look at what Kyle's put together. He's found a great way where there's no resistance. People start coming towards you and refer you. It's the opposite effect. So thank you for preparing that for this audience, for our audience today, Kyle.
Yeah, man.
I know. Anytime we talk about scripts, people go crazy. So hey, before we wrap up here, I always like to ask people why. People that put themselves out there and provide a product or a service, it's a vulnerable place. There is rejection, often daily. And it's sorry, I'm thinking of bad jokes and analogies. I'm skipping by them. So you're welcome, everyone listening, watching. So gotta
put the brakes on the dad jokes, huh?
I can only hold back so much, but with it today, right now is a victory. So rejection is something that you'll face. And so, entrepreneurs, athletes, musicians, actors, just high performers that have to create and put themselves out there. They are judged, they are rejected, but there's certain ones that press through that, they persevere and they keep going. And the people that have that drive, I don't see that in everyone. I see that in you.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, door to door and continuing to expand beyond that. Why, Kyle? Why do you keep going? What drives you?
So I've always thought of sales as the ability to create money out of thin air, to be able to create money, create wealth, and do it on demand. So the ability to sell is the ability to make money at will. And in addition to that, the ability to sell is also to impact in a completely radical way. Now, the reason I say that is because we are conditioned to procrastinate. We are conditioned to avoid pain and avoid new things, and we're conditioned to not go outside of our comfort zone. When sales is all about pushing people outside of their comfort zone so that they can become something better and stop procrastinating and stop the excuses and pull the trigger so that you're able to do something that's going to wildly change your life. That's what I like about sales, is because it's coaching people into enrollment for something that's going to impact them in a positive way.
Well said, Kyle. That was really good. I'm getting all fired up and inspired to go do more sales now too, man. I really appreciate you spending time with our audience today.
Yeah, I appreciate it. If you guys want to follow me more, check me out, Kyle Rodgers. That's Rodgers with a D, KYLERODGERS. Look me up on Facebook, and you guys will be able to add me on there.
Appreciate you, my friend. Hey, and I appreciate everyone listening and watching to this. This content is designed for you, entrepreneurs, business owners that are putting themselves out there, providing a product and service to the marketplace to make not only your world, but the world a better place. So if you like that type of content, this is the place for you, and we'll keep bringing it to you. We'll see you guys on the next one.